Morning, boys and girls. Mr. Giomini and I. Sorry I had to pause my last video. My alarm was going off. I woke up a little earlier than usual today. Anyways, I want to give you some reviews for algebraic expressions and algebraic equations. So as you notice, I already started this, but I'll rewind here. So first thing I do is point and say 8 times the sum of y and 8. I see 8 times. That means I'm multiplying something by 8. Sum means to add. Now I'm doing the sum of these two things. So it's a sum of y and must mean in this case addition, y and 13. But it says 8 times the sum of this. So that means I have to get the sum of this first. So think of order of operations. To get the sum of this first, I must do parentheses. Because we know in our order of operations, multiplication would come before addition. Unless, of course, I put parentheses around it. So my final expression, because there is no is in this, would be 8 times, and now I'll do my parentheses, y plus 13. Alright? So that says the sum of y and 13 times 8. Okay, next one. 9 less than the total of a number and 2. 9 less the total of a number and 2. Well, 9 obviously, let's see here, 9 less, that should be than, there's a typo. 9 less than the total of a number and 2. So it should be 9, and I'm taking 9 away from something. And it says the total, so I have to get a total first of a number. It's an unknown, so I'll just call it, I'll stick with the variable y, and 2. So again, I'm doing 9 less than, not that, the total of a number and 2. So I'm going to have to find the total, which means to add, of a number and 2. So I'm probably going to add y plus 2. And you know what? I'm going to put that in parentheses because I need to find that first. Even though I know in our operations, if all I have is addition and subtraction, that whatever comes first from left to right will be performed. I'm still going to put that in parentheses, and I'm going to take away from that sum, or that total, 9. Okay? So I have open parenthesis, y plus 2, close parenthesis, minus 9, or 9 less. Let's take a look at the next one. 4 less than e. 4 less than e. I am taking away 4 from e. So does that mean I start with e first, or e is second? Well, I'm going to take, it's 4 less than e, so it has to be smaller than e. So I'm starting with e first. So I'm going to go e minus 4. Okay? Next one. The quotient of h and 9. My paper's going to slip here so you see the next one. Quotient. The quotient of h and 9. Quotient means to divide. And I want to find the answer to when I'm dividing h by 9. Okay, so I want to divide h by 9. I want to figure out how many, if I divide h into 9 parts, how many are in one part. So I have to figure out which one is, if I'm thinking about a fraction, which one's the h is going to be my numerator or denominator, really. So I want to figure out, here's h, I want to break it into 9 parts. So wouldn't it be h divided by 9? Now, many of you may write it like this, and some of you may still write it like this. Either one of these 3 answers are acceptable. Because if you think about it, all a fraction is you're figuring out how many, what you have out of the whole. I'm sorry. You want to, essentially your top one is your numerator, your bottom one's your denominator. Okay. Now look at the next one. 12 is 16 less than 4 times a number. 12 is 16 less than 4 times. Ooh, there's that word is. Equals. So 12. This whole problem is going to equal 12. And it's 16 less. So 12 is 16 less than 4 times a number. 16 less. So I'm taking 16 away from something. 4 times a number. I don't know what the number is, so I'll just say it's 4y. So let's see here. I have to multiply 4 times a number first. Once I get that product, I'm taking away 16 from it. And all I know is when I'm done, it's going to equal 12. Alright. Okay, let's take a look at my next couple problems here. Get a little bit of story problems. I'm going to do my point and say first. Each glue stick costs $1.25. The price of G glue sticks is $10.25. Let's see here. So I know that I'm going to write down some things I know here. I know that one glue stick, or I'm going to say 1G, is equal to $1.25. Okay? But they say here the price of G glue sticks. So I guess I don't know how many glue sticks I have. But all I know is it is $10.25. Well, if I take G plus $1.25, I'm never going to get $10.25. If I take $1.25 minus G, let's say I bought one, that gives me 25 cents for, but I want to figure out how many I need to buy to get $10.25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little multiplication. So I take $1.25, my price of one, I'm going to times that by G, or how many I'm buying. And when I determine how many I buy, that is going to give me $10.25. Okay? Next one. Noah is R years old. In 14 years, he will be 25 years old. This is a tricky one because we tend to see is and we want to say equals. But in this case, it's a little different because if I read it again, Noah is R years old. We don't know how old Noah is. That's the unknown. But we know in 14 years, he will be 25 years old. So we know that whatever Noah is now, when we add 14 to it, he's going to be 25. So this is actually my equals. So Noah's going to be 25 years old one day. We don't know how old he is now, so we'll call that our unknown. That's our variable, that's R. But we do know in 14 years. So I'm going to add 14 years to his life. He'll be 25. I bet Noah can't wait for that. All 16 of my Noahs. Alright, if I take a look at the next one. My last one. The length of a football field is 30 yards more than its width. Express the length of the field in terms of its width, W. So again, the length of a football field is 30 yards. Okay, so I'm going to put L equals 30, the length. More than its width, so it's 30 yards. So length equals, if the width is 30, might be 30 plus W. Let's see here. Let me keep going here. The length of a football field is 30 yards more than its width. Express the length of a football field in terms of its width, W. Okay, let's see here. This is a wordy one. I'm going to read it again. Make sure I understand it. So the length of a football field is 30 yards more than its width. Let's see if I can read this morning. Express the length of the field in terms of its width. So they want me to know what the length is. Well, all I really know is whatever the length is, to find the width, I have to subtract 30. But this says express the length of a football in terms of width, W. So wouldn't I say that whatever the width is, which is my W, I'm going to add to it 30 to get my length, because the football field is longer than it is wider. So once I figure out the width, if I just add 30 to it, I'll get the length. So there we go. Hope these helped you. Take care. Bye.